Star Citizen Alpha 3.19 is now out on Wave 1 of the PTU, so some limited access is available to Star Citizen backers if you are a concierge member, if you are a subscriber to the voluntary Star Citizen RSI subscription thing. If you are an EVA Carty, then you'll have access to the Wave 1 PTU. And this also means that we can talk about the PTU stuff. So it's testing various features and updates, but not all of what the patch has to offer yet has turned up or is ready for testing. So it's a bit of a surprise that 3.19 is already out to first wave PTU, but that's potentially because Cloud Imperium want to push it out to live as soon as possible and as is sensibly possible, be ready for Fleet Week. So the patch addresses a lot of problems that 3.18 that build had, and tries to get the game in a good state for Fleet Week, and has various new gameplay and features, but it also adds in a different set of bugs, although Cloud Imperium are trying to work through them. So the current testing focus for this Wave 1 PTU is general stability, the Lawville 2.0 skyline, the salvage contract missions, tractor beams, the item attaching and detaching updates there, Ghost Hollow Reclaimer PvP mission, and mission density management. There's also a listing of some stuff we can expect to see soon in the PTU, but they're not ready for testing, and that's mining balance and the new player experience at Area 18. So, what new features do we have in this patch? Salvage contracts. The addition of salvage contracts to the PU. This new contract called the Salvage Resource Rush is a mission where a faction or mission giver requests the scrapping of a derelict or husk in their possession, either on the ground at a junkyard or in space in a debris field. Players accepting the mission are tasked to scrap the derelict to the best of their ability and then sell it to a shop. Once the players are finished with scrapping of the derelict, they can complete the mission in their mobileglass. This mission will have 3 variations. Lawful. This basically requests the scrapping of a derelict with the location being secured by a organization with orbital sentries or centurions. So you're going to be relatively safe at these locations if you're doing a lawful mission. Lawless, so neutral effectively. Mission giver requests the scrapping of a derelict and the location is not secured in any way. So you might get attacked by pirates or other players might turn up or whatever. An unlawful one from a mission giver organization asks the salvage of a recent battle area and salvage site, which is not accessible to civilians or is cordoned off. The location is secured by hostile orbital sentries or centurions. But the mission's really cool because you can just go, I really want to salvage there's a 325A, there's an 890 jump. You can choose the ship that you want to salvage. You have to pay a fee, and then bam, you've got the site. They've got the Ghost Hollow Reclaimer PvP mission, so this adds a new type of a mission to Ghost Hollow Crash Site, making use of the comm arrays as well as AI navmesh. This mission type will create PvP encounters where players will need to fight for control over terminals for a chance of big credit payouts. This is a mission with outlaw UEC terminals in the Reclaimer derelict. When active, they generate UEC that anyone can withdraw, creating PvP encounters between players trying to control the terminals, which are also guarded by outlaw AI. To start the terminals, the comms array must be disabled. If that is done, the terminals can be activated in the tower next to the derelict ship. To start this event at Ghost Hollow Crash Site, a player needs to disable the Stanton 4 comm array above Microtech, which will enable the terminals, and a mobileglass communication is sent to all nearby players. Though this feature is not ready for feedback and testing, so although it does exist, they're not taking feedback on it yet. Lawville Skyline 2.0, the major reworking of the Lawville Skyline to better fit the scale of the city and distinctive buildings. The goal is to create the visual identity for the high-end, low-end, and generic branding of the city skyline, and add navigational signage around the landing zones. So the area just looks fantastic at Lawville. The city's much bigger, there's a load of new assets, huge amount of detail, you can fly around and explore. There's still a lot of restricted areas which will so you've trespassed here and then impound your ship, spawn you back at Lawville inside the city, so bear that in mind, and then you'll have to go to a terminal and pay off your fine. The fines aren't particularly expensive, but it's I hope that they tweak the times and everything with trespassing, because I want to be able to fly around that city and potentially do racing and that sort of stuff, because there's trenches to fly in, there's big craters, there's a lot of verticality, and just the city is just a huge amount bigger with a load of pretty assets. Moreover, for sort of general updates for the way stuff looks, they've updated volumetric atmosphere and clouds at ArcCorp. There's been a performance polish pass for atmospheres and clouds in general, and they've moved the location of the Area 18 ASOP terminals closer to the hangar elevators. We also have Tractor Beam Tier 0.5, and with item attaching and detaching, enabling handheld tractor beams to attach and detach items such as ship components and allowing players to sell those salvaged items for profit. This iteration of the tractor beam gameplay will add the functionality to the tractor beam attachment of the multi-tool to attach and detach items from ship item ports. This functionality can either be used for component exchange, replacement or restocking, or to scavenge other ships to use or make a profit. Players can lock and unlock the ability to remove weapons and components from their ships with a new port unlock option in the inner thought menu that will appear when you're in the cockpit of your ship. While aiming at a component with the tractor beam, to detach it, hold B, and it will highlight the object with a glow around its perimeter and shape. Left click to drag to pull the component loose from its socket or hardpoint. While attaching components, an AI marker will appear to give players guidance on the correct orientation to attach the component appropriately. If the hollow outline is green, simply let go of the item and it will attach. If the hollow item is yellow, rotate the item until the outline turns green. If the outline is red, then the item doesn't fit on the item port. This means that you can salvage pretty much any ship that you fought in its soft def state. So you can soft def it, then you can pull items and components off it as well. You don't need to go to the cockpit or anything and then go unlock soft def state. You can still salvage that stuff. You just need a tractor beam. And obviously it expands out the stuff that you can do with salvage gameplay as well, because you can remove all the components first and then salvage a ship. Also, very much worth looking at a ship's cargo bay and seeing if there's anything interesting in there. There's also Density Manager mission updates. So they've updated the Density Manager system so that mission entities and things dropped by missions such as corpses, guns, and debris will be cleaned up when the area is streamed out. So as we reuse mission locations such as underground facilities, the location will then be cleaned of all mission items when the area is streamed out. You may ask, well, what's the point of persistent entity streaming in then? Well, so player dropped things will still remain as usual, but obviously this is just in mission areas as far as I am aware, and that's to make the game actually playable and work in the short and mid-term. So obviously they do plan to have quite extensive things that persistent entity streaming can change, but we've had a lot of problems with 3.18. They want to get the game in a playable state. Some other balance and feature stuff, they've reduced and rebalanced the amount of ship weapons, missiles, and ship components that are currently sold in rest stops and stations. They've temporarily removed Claim Jumper and Horizon FPS missions for 3.19. Hopefully they will turn back up. And they've also added the Corsair, Cutter, and C8R medical Pisces to the in-game shops, which were added in a previous PTU build for 3.18, then removed again, and then that caused a bit of controversy, but they are now in-game, which means there is a huge amount of things that you can purchase in-game ship-wise now. I think there's very few ships and vehicles, unless they're promo ships and vehicles, that are not available to purchase in-store. And by that I mean in-store, in-game. Now, there are still some problems going on. There are a variety of issues that Cloud Imperium are trying to work through. The patch allows you to spawn ships, move around, do missions relatively unrestrained, which is great. And we're waiting on some new updates and stuff to be added with the mining balance, probably an economy balance potentially as well, and some updates there. New player experience at Area 18, the Lynx rover, and a few other features likely to turn up. It's possible they'll want to test sort of Fleet Week out, at least the sort of parts of it on the PTU server, although they also like to do that just with the Evocati sometimes, so we'll have to wait and see what they decide there. But 3.19 seems to be running pretty well at the moment. I will go through quickly some of the known issues so that you are aware. So known issue-wise, shop items, pictures, and descriptions are missing from shopping kiosks sometimes. Harvestable deposits may be invisible to players, causing collisions or becoming unavailable for scanning, and mining might not work particularly well in the build currently. Players can be injured or killed when getting out of the chair, and there are replace me balls in the Area 18 habs. High dedicated video memory usage leads to severe dropping of frames at Lawville, which I've experienced when flying around. In some of my footage, you will see that it seems to be a bit chuggy when he's flying around there. So the gas clouds and the sort of new stuff going on there without it being optimized has caused some frame rate drops. Wait for player spawn connection. Timeout in Arena Commander can sometimes occur. The Redeemer is missing collision for its floor. The Reclaimer has no rear elevator interaction from the exterior of the ship, and the main on-elevator control panels do not respond to input. The Argo Mole has interaction prompts for all mining lasers that are easy to miss or are in unintuitive locations for players. The Consolidated Outland Hoverquad can spawn slightly stuck in the ground. Hints don't appear when loading into the universe on ultra-wide monitors. Mining UI is appearing in low resolution on ships and vehicles. The Constellation and P-52 are still not usable properly. You can't, once the P-52 is docked, it's just unusable. You can't use it. Shards can fail to load after a crash, so servers. There's issues with reloading the salvage multi-tool with RMC canisters. Enemy combat AI is slow to respond or react. That is a consistent problem. Hopefully, with some optimization here, they will be able to be in a relatively good state. Ghost Hollow extraction terminals cannot be interacted with before and after the comms arrays have been deactivated. So, although Ghost Hollow is technically in at the moment, it's not working as intended. Urza rovers can sometimes spawn under the garages at Klesha Prison, preventing prisoner escape. Trams are out of sync with station timers, causing trams to overlap or not appear on time. However, at Lawville, they seem to wait for each other better and work pretty well, although they are a bit janky sometimes. The salvage attachment has the VFX of the tractor beam and does not function. Crunchband screens have a vis area issue at Security Post Correa. Spawning ships causes the requested ship to spawn outside of the hangars. Buying pharmacy items at Empire Health results in invalid location error. Wallace Klim becomes stuck under the floor near the hangars after being streamed out and back in. So, some of those issues, they're quite big and need to be solved ASAP, especially things like getting the server AI in the best possible sort of state, making sure that you are able to get on trains and trams without them imploding, exploding. I say that, sort of, that you want them to get you where you want to go without them being too janky and not sort of giving you incorrect times. Accessibility, stability, and playability are the focuses of trying to get 3.19 into a great state for the live build and for Fleet Week. But I'm really interested to know what you think. Are you playing in the First Wave PTU? Are you keenly awaiting it to go to a wider PTU or to the live build? Do you think Cloud Imperium can knock it out of the park with 3.19 and Fleet Week? Or are you worried that there may be some major problems again with this patch? I mean major like 3.18 not working for a lot of people, that sort of stuff. Not, it's generally alpha problems, which we are going to get with Star Citizen. But I'm just interested to know your thoughts in the comments below. Give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day, but give him a NordVPN subscription using nordvpn.com/BoredGamer or the links below, and he'll browse the internet more safely and with greater accessibility for a lifetime, or at least until his subscription ends. He can then shop for his own fish from places like Tesco's, Walmart, or Asda or something. It also makes a fantastic gift. Next time you go to a dinner party or a wedding, bring them a NordVPN subscription. Bam! You'll be the talk of the town, and it's certainly better than bringing a fish. Please remember to like and subscribe, and if you'd like to go further to support the channel, then use that join button under my videos or the Patreon links below. That would be amazing. It goes a long way to helping Zin and I be able to create daily videos, and you'll get some exclusive perks, including some videos, posts, and polls to help guide the channel. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For May, it's for an Origin 400i, the luxury exploration touring ship capable of taking 3 crew to distant stars. It also comes with lifetime insurance and a Star Citizen game package. To be in for a chance of winning that, just comment on any of my videos made during the month. More details down below. Thanks very much for watching. I hope to see you in the verse.